Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of a Stoked podcast. I am writer, artist, publisher, father, husband, uncle, cousin, Javon O. Stokes, and welcome to another episode. I'm glad to see you guys here after another week. Hopefully, this week we have less less technical difficulties, but it sounds like uh, we got a little bit more. My guest is on the way. He's working his way through uh, permissions or something for the app. You know how this is, guys. Technology, we need it, and sometimes it tends to bite us on the butt. But we gonna do whatever we got to get here because this is my homie, my ace. I've been privileged to become friends with this gentleman over the last few years. So we're gonna make sure he gets in. But before he gets on, as always, you can get all of my good stuff, all my comics. I can't get my prints, but all my comics, children's books, whatever, at visuallystoked.com right below. Please check me out. Also, I will be at Springfield Comic-Con this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It should be a really good time. It should be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. Last year I did it and it was like amazing. And it was like one day and I couldn't keep stuff on the table. So I'm really looking forward to this year. It's expanded out to 2 days, so it should be fun. And then last weekend I did Contropolis, New Jersey. That was a fun con. It was a fun con. It's different. It seems to be slanted more towards celebrities. People come there to see the celebrities, but we still move units because that's what we do here at Visually Stoked. Oh, look at he got in there. He got in. All right, so we're not gonna hold this man. I'm gonna go off the top with my intro tonight. I call this gentleman a big dog in the indie comics industry. I promise you guys, this man doesn't have to sell his book. His book is that good. Tuskegee Airs, and I'm not going to pronounce the other book because I've never heard him actually pronounce it. So I'm waiting to hear him pronounce the book. I think I have the book over there, but I have no idea how to pronounce the name on the book. But we're going to have him come in. He is well known. He's also part of the Milestone Talent Initiative, and he's got some good stuff dropping. We're going to talk about. I'm proud to call this gentleman a friend of mine. And this is a friendship that literally came out of nowhere. But I probably talk to him as much as I talk to my wife on Facebook. But y'all give Stoke Podcast round of applause to the one and only Greg Burnham.
How you know there ain't another one of me?
Hey, listen, man. I know there's not enough. I know there are other Greg Burnhams, but they don't look like you. They got a lot less melanin.
There you go. There you go. How's it going?
What's good, man? What's good, man? What's good?
Oh man, I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But I thought I flew out in the morning, but lo and behold, I don't fly out till the evening. So
what?
It means I got a little bit more time on my hands.
Okay, all right. What time you fly out?
Like 7.
Oh damn.
So I'll be like
I was gonna try and get lunch with y'all, but yeah, that's not gonna happen.
It wouldn't be lunch. It wouldn't be lunch.
I don't know. Y'all let me know, man. That's not a far drive. It's not a far drive.
Right. But you're gonna be at the. Are you gonna be driving home every night?
Yeah, it's not that far. Okay, it's not that far at all, man. I get to sleep in my bed. I'm going to take advantage of it.
Oh, I know that.
But I don't got to rush home, so we definitely gonna get up. It's. I'm trying to think how fast does it take for me to get back? Maybe 15 minutes on the highway.
Okay. All right, you good?
Maybe, and that's like if I drive slow. But if I drive like I normally do, maybe about 15, 20 minutes. Springfield, they got some really good stuff up there. They got the Basketball Hall of Fame. I don't know if you've ever been, But I go there. I've been there a couple times. It was really cool. They got nice restaurants. There's a casino up there. It's a nice little spot, man. It's a nice little spot that we get to from time to time.
Cool.
So there's stuff for you guys to do. I think this con is like an early Saturday and
Yeah,
like it's
I
like
think both.
5 or 6.
Yeah, both days it ends. Looks like it ends kind of early. So
Right. So there's things for you to do.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate this. This was supposed to happen like a long time
20
ago.
years ago, right?
I don't know why this has never happened until now. I mean, you are a busy dude. I know you just got back from BlurredCon. How was that?
Man, it's always a good show. The people like I don't it's you get a feeling it's kind of like a family reunion type of thing. Like even though you might see like I might see everybody that I saw at a different show somewhere in the United States during the year, but it's
Right.
like BlurredCon comes together and it's literally you have like that family feeling. It's like a long cookout type of thing.
It looked like it. It looked like it.
Yeah.
I
Lots
was
of love,
like,
lots of love. Yeah, it's a
I
beautiful
was
thing.
jealous. I'm still jealous.
You should be, man. Weren't you supposed to be there?
I thought I was gonna be there. Um, I thought I had an in, and then the in evaporated. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll, get into the actual, I thought I had it in. I thought I was gonna make it. I had a hotel room booked and everything.
Dang. Well, it's always, the next one. But
Oh
it's
no, I'm going one way or
it,
another.
yeah, I equate it to like walk in the yard at an HBCU. It's like that same feeling, man. So like a lot of because you still see, like cosplayers and even creators, you still deal with, certain things at other conventions and even if the incidents don't necessarily happen to you, but it's like they could at any second. Somebody could be like, "You're not supposed to be wearing that. You're black. You can't cosplay this character."
Right.
That kind of stuff. So it's like all of that is out the door, and it's like none of that's happening. So it's like just free love, people, acknowledging dope art, acknowledging dope cosplays. Everybody, I couldn't take like 10 steps, man, without, somebody stopping me either to take a picture or just to chat it up, whatever. So it's a great thing.
Hey man, that's honestly that's beautiful, man. Like I gotta be honest with you. Seeing all the melanated folks, I was just like, dog, I was so jealous. I was
Yeah,
so I was so jealous, man. It looks so damn fun.
yeah, it is. And BlurCon is also it's pretty much a party, man. Like it just doesn't stop. Um, they have parties going, which seems like all night. There's panels that go late. It's just like me and Greg, we did a great panel. Greg Anderson, LSA.
I saw that.
Yeah, great panel. So it's like it's just nonstop. Like you could leave the show floor when it closes, go take a shower, go take a nap, wake up, and it's like go downstairs and it's live. You know what I'm saying? It's good.
Dog, it looks so damn fun. It's funny because I was at a con. I was at a
Mhm.
con, and like it was a slow con, so I was able to This was one of the few cons I was able to like be on my phone, and
Mm.
I'm just seeing like pictures like flooding, and I'm just like, ah.
I still got like gang of pictures and videos that I haven't even posted yet.
I believe it.
It's nuts, man.
I mean, you a rock star there. I mean, for those that don't know, this gentleman here, Tuskegee Airs, you know, they they do numbers, y'all. They do numbers. We were at Heroes Con in North Carolina. Me, Danny, Morgan, and Ro. And somebody saw the art on Ro's book. And it was from
Mm.
Marcus. And
Mm-hmm.
so they came over like, the Tuskegee guys here, airs here, they here, and we're like, nah, they're awesome, and you could just see, huh? It's like, we got books though, and they're like, yeah, okay. And she's
Oh,
like, all
that's
right.
crazy.
But they listen. I think I told you the story before, but I'll tell it again. This was at Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And you at Baltimore, you were like never at your table. you was this last Baltimore. I swear you were never at your table. I would come by to say hi, and you were never there.
Oh, what was I doing, man?
I don't know.
I know I was having a migraine. So
Right, you
like,
did say you weren't feeling well.
yeah, but I was there a lot. I think it was just you was picking the times when I wasn't there.
So I went by one time, and you weren't there. So I was like, all right, I'll come back. I was walking back to my table, and somebody was on their cell phone. I promise you, I'm not lying. Somebody's on their cell phone, like, yo, the Tuskegee Airs guys are here. And I was like, dog, what do I have to do to get to that level? And
Oh
so,
man,
I'm so happy for y'all. Like, you deserve all the success that you got coming your way. And the fact that you are making such noise in our industry that's hard to make noise in, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I I don't want to say it's luck. I'll say that like when we initially hit, like when we came out, it was like easier to go viral on the internet.
Right.
Um, and it was like we we didn't have a big following when and at that time like in Atlanta, people know who we are. Some people knew who we were in like different states, or whatever. But we didn't have like a huge following. But it was just a different time where these apps aren't like muting.
Right.
Like if you want people to see you now, you got to pay. And even when you pay, usually they're gonna drown you out. To make sure they're still putting the cap on what you see.
Yeah, that paying thing. I tried that. I think at the beginning of my little journey, I
Mm,
tried doing the pay for ads.
yeah.
I don't think it made a dent. I was
Yeah.
at that point. I was just like, this isn't working. Like,
Yeah,
so
in the beginning, it was working. Like if you already have followers, then you would like a good portion of the people that followed you would be able to see the ads. But since then, they've even like kind of slowed that out down. So I
yeah,
don't know, man. It's like creating mailing lists. We do a lot of conventions and that person to person thing where we're just being ourselves. You know what I mean? But apparently there's a good amount of people that like ourselves. So it's like it kind of works. And then as you continue doing these conventions, like I said, even like all conventions, it feels like they're reunions in a sense. BlurCon just is extra black.
hey man, I was looking forward to that extra black man.
Oh man,
Because you just you do, like you say, you do these cons, and I've done a lot this year alone. And a lot of times you're the only port in the storm when it comes to like black creators. You might see a couple, like I'm seeing a lot more now than I did last year and the year before, and whatnot. There's a lot more now, but I'm also widening my scope, I guess.
mm-hmm.
But it's always nice to see, and I can't even imagine being in a room with just black creators, like just a swarm of black creators. It's got to be great. But we can get into that a little bit later. I'm gonna ask you questions I've never asked before, because I've
Mm-hmm.
never actually had an opportunity to interview you. Every time we talk shop,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool, or sports, or sport. We can talk about that too. But when did your love of comic books begin?
Man, so that's wild. Like, so my dad was in the military. So my first memories, I was living in England. And but my parents was getting me toys. So I had like Star Wars toys before I had ever seen any Star Wars movie.
Right.
Way back then, as you can see by the grades, movies weren't just everywhere. And so, and, even when we came to the States, we moved to Idaho, and it was like, it wasn't nothing cracking out there. You know what I'm saying? But I remember I had all these different toys. I'm like 5 years old, and I had like this. He probably this big now, but for me, he was like half my size. As a Spider-Man, he had like Velcro on his hands and feet, and you know what I'm saying. So you can like slap him on a blanket,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I loved that toy. I remember us being in our like temporary housing, and it's like that's the only thing I wanted to play with. Maybe I didn't. They didn't. We couldn't bring a lot on the plane or whatever. But then like my cousin, the first time I met him, he's like maybe 10 years older than me, and he was like super cool, just the coolest dude. You know what I mean? And I remember him saying, like showing me some of his comic books. I'm like 5 or 6 years old, and he's like, "All right, now I'm getting ready to leave. Whatever you do, don't go into this trunk." I'm like, "Okay." And so as soon as he gets out the door, and I see him go down the street, run back in his room. I'm in the trunk, and I'm just flipping, and it just like different portals in my brain was just like being opened. So I think that was the beginning. I did kind of fall out of love with comics. I had like this at a very young age. I don't know how I got it. I think it maybe came from my grandma, but I had this like heightened sense of blackness. Like I could look at stuff and be like, why does Peter Parker look cool and such and such, I don't like the art. I don't like the way they're making him look. I don't like the way he's colored.
Right.
Why they got mean faces? Why is there such thing as a man ape? So it was like at that same time I was into G.I. Joe, where their stuff was really stereotypical too, but the representation was different, right?
Yeah.
So they had Spirit, the Native American, indigenous. They had Stalker. Like Stalker was my first black action figure. You know what I mean? You familiar with Stalker?
Yeah, but I'm trying. You had me thinking about what was my first black.
Uh,
It was probably what's that dude? Sunman.
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I had that was probably my first.
So it's like I'm getting all these, GI Joe. So I really got into GI Joe and the animation, Transformers, like all that stuff, and because I didn't know how to explain it, but I felt like they don't even really care. They just
Yeah.
doing some, it just looked like junk to me. Now I've been able to go back and understanding the history of it, and I can acknowledge its importance. Even if like I don't like the fact that Luke Cage got all this power and he's using it for $20, or like or man again. But
Yeah, mayonnaise stings.
yeah,
Mayonnaise been sting
yeah.
for me, man. I'm with you. I'm with
So
you.
yeah, but you're growing, you're learning more about history and starting to learn to appreciate the history and understand like even then these dudes was taking huge chances by actually even putting T'Challa in a book or Black Lightning
Right.
or any of these guys. So I started, feeling better about it, but by then I'm like huge into sports. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'd rather play sports than do anything. And I'll never forget the night I was watching Arsenio Hall, and they talked about Brother Man.
Okay. I saw that one.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that one.
And when I saw that, I was like, and it was so funny because right around that same time, my grandma got me a book. So my grandma lived in Kansas City, and she got me a book. I believe it was called like Omega Man. It was a local thing. I don't think it ever. The only people I've ever heard say something about it are from like KC,
Okay.
KC, KC. Da, da, da.
Oh boy.
Um.
Here we go.
So hey man, Kansas City A's. People don't know nothing about that. But yeah, so I think I saw that Omega Man book, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't like super, enthralled, but I did see it was like a dude, just a black dude, decided he can make a comic, and then Brother Man, on Arsenio Hall, and then Milestone, and then all this stuff starts coming to me. But again, I'm knee deep into sports, and then hip hop, and then when I moved to Atlanta, I was like, I want to do a comic book. I'm about to find somebody to do a comic book with. I already had this idea in my head, and so after searching for an artist for a long time, my homeboy brought this guy named Marcus Williams to my house. It was like it was either 99 or 2000. It gets murky, but it might have been 2000. And we did this book.
What? Okay.
Very old. Marcus hates it because he's like,
nah, okay.
I'm so much better than this now. And I'm like, I know you are, man, but this is still like, like actual,
Hey man, how old was he?
Huh?
How old was he when he did this?
He had probably like 20.
Okay.
So the funny thing is,
that's good, Joe. I mean, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. The funny part is that like it was like all hands on deck. So I was like coloring flats. What my other homeboy, I don't know if you met Nicholas who, but Nick was the third person in the crew. He was the one that introduced me to Marcus. And so, yeah, man, we were doing stuff and experimenting. I remember saying, hey, man, I want this, where's my finger? This character right here, I want her to be dark skinned. And everybody's like, well, you can't put dark skin on paper. Like that was really a thing,
No, absolutely.
Existed.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I allowed to cuss? I'm like, shit, we're about to see. You know what I'm saying? So
I say this though, like, how you talked about how there were things that didn't sit right with you when you read. That was something that has always that didn't sit right with me when I was younger. Whenever they would color black skin, it would always look weird as hell.
Yeah. And it would almost always be the same, like all the black people would almost be the same color.
Really? Because I would always see these weird pea soup different. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no black person is that color. Well, not every black person, but it just was just like weird looking. That always sat wrong with me, man.
But that was their thing. Like it was
yeah.
When I was, in the Milestone thing, they talked about it. Like they were actually like painting and they were doing all kinds of different things so they could explore these different skin tones. So, we come along, at the end of a decade and there's like digital colors and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so again, like, I'm like, no, we're going to do it. And so like Marcus is coloring, I'm like blacker. And I'm like more blacker, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, look, it doesn't look bad. You know what I'm saying?
Darker.
So this is like,
oh no, that's really good.
Yeah, this is one of my proud, like, because, we got past that hurdle early. Like, because my whole thing, the reason I was rejecting people is, well, there was a couple reasons. Sometimes you get catfished. Some of these people just couldn't do what they said they could do. But then, like, people couldn't draw black people and make them beautiful. You know what I mean? And I was like, I need that. That was one of my things. In children's books and everything, it was like they always was making black people, like, I love our features. I have the biggest nose in existence. I love our features, but it would be like it was always over accented. You know what I'm saying?
Or under accented, like it was just a white face, just dark.
Yeah. Like, we did this book, man, and it kind of went a little bit crazy. And after that, man, it was like, let's roll. But then we didn't roll. And I the reason why is because we didn't know anything about the comic business, like the business side.
Right.
We were like, yo, we're putting this on the shelf at Criminal Records, and it's selling out like the day we put them in, it sells out that day. But we were losing money on every copy because they were selling it for like $4, and it was costing us like $10 to make a copy. So, but it solved something that we didn't have to worry about. We know how to do something. We know how to make something good.
Yeah.
We just need to understand how to, not go broke.
Hey, listen, I understand that, man. I understand, learning from the first, the first one. I don't even know where my first comic is. I don't know. I gave out so many copies. It's probably in my basement somewhere. But yeah, like I do feel you on your perception of what comics were like, and how it can turn off Black people at the same time as well. But I know, like, for me, one of the few artists I used to it was two artists who every time I saw their book, and I knew this from a young age, like really young, because I was very big on following the names of artists and figuring out whose style is which. But Dennis always drew Black people that looked like Black people, and I knew he was Black before I even knew he was Black,
right?
Because it's the way he drew. And MD Bright, who I thought was Black, and then somebody told me he was white, and so for years I was like, well, this white boy know how to draw Black people, and then they're like, nah, he's Black, and I was like, well, that makes more sense. But they always drew, characters who were ethnic, and it was really refreshing to see back then. Because we both showing our age. Because I remember, I remember picking up Static and all that off the spinner. Like that ain't, you're what? You're a little over older than me, so you was probably
bold enough to be your
uncle. No, oh, yeah, uncle, sure, yeah, uncle, sure. But you were probably in college when Milestone came out, no, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, yeah. So I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
was in high school. Yeah. Because it was what, 93, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe I wasn't in high school. I was in middle school then. Yeah, about middle school. It had to be. I was old enough to take the bus to the little shop. So I was old enough to go buy it. So I had to be some age around there. But yeah, Milestone, was definitely a game changer.
Absolutely.
So after this, what was the next step? Like, how did you get from? I didn't see. What was the name of the book? I couldn't read it because it's backwards. What is it?
Starving Artist.
Starving. Okay. How did y'all get from Starving Artist to Tuskegee Airs?
So we had one of those good Nino Brown conferences, and we was like, yo, I'm sick of losing money making something dope. And we didn't that's still pre-internet. Well, I mean, the internet was there, but it wasn't being utilized, social media, all that stuff. So, we actually put it in a couple of contests and we lost. And it's a good, if you ever come to Atlanta, I would let you read this one. We actually were thinking about making more, but anyway, back to the story. So it was we're nobody's going to do this for us.
Right.
We don't know what the hell we're doing. So we need to fall back and learn. So I had this other idea. I wanted to do this hip hop magazine thing. And I started talking to Marcus, and, we've basically fleshed out this whole thing, but we knew a guy that knew a guy. And so before you know it, we have a team, an entrepreneurial team. And now we're doing a website and all this stuff. I wasn't I didn't even see I'm a core element hip hop dude. So I'm I'm more interested in grassroots, doing shows, B-boy battles, all that kind of stuff. So that's the stuff that we were doing that was working, but we also tried to build a website. This was right around the same time that MySpace had already hit.
Right.
Facebook was coming. And so
Like
I swear
planning.
to you, man, we're like, we got somebody to invest like a nice amount of money in us. We're we're rolling. We got these people building the website, and we got these bright ideas. And it's like every time you get a bright idea, they're like, "Yeah, we can do it. It's gonna take like 3 weeks to get this done." And then the next day, Facebook has it. So it was like that kind of phased out. The events, like we were throwing really good events or partnering with other people. And Atlanta had a dope underground hip hop scene. So we're dealing with everything like the graffiti, the MCs, the breakdancers, the DJs, everybody. And yeah, Blur kind of was stacked. So yeah, we did that for a while. And then it just got to the point. The thing about it was Marcus and I were aligned, mentally and, philosophically with the project. The other people were looking at it more from this like straight up business thing. Ironically, the stuff that I was leading worked, like throwing shows, the battles, like all that. We got to partner with this company called B-Boy World. They saw what me and one of my homeboys were doing in Atlanta, and they was like, "Yo, we want to have our battle in Atlanta, and we want you guys to host." And it was like a $25,000 battle. B-boys from all over the world, like everybody that was considered great at that time was at our battle.
Wow.
It was that good. Like I'm talking about from everywhere, Japan, Korea,
Damn.
and so the stuff, the side that me and Marcus were really focused on, that was working fine. We had like a little comic strip on the website. People was loving it. Got interviews that was like hitting OK Player, like because they're sharing them, to other places.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing our thing. I was looking for something. I found out our site is still sort of up, but it's not the big iteration. This was like more of a placeholder kind of thing, but it does have some of our interviews and stuff like that on it. But yeah,
Okay.
so we did that until that came to a point where I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work because I'm about to knock this dude's teeth out. Um, and so
So
we
violent.
not. I mean, I'm
I
not.
mean, considering your other story you just told me, man, you come
I'm
violent.
not
I'm
not
a little
super,
worried about you, man.
not
I hope
super
you
violent,
mellowed in your
man.
old
But
age.
but when no, I mellowed in my young age, man. Like I'm different than. But yeah, it was like so we kind of all the way fell back. And then a few years later, Marcus started working on that Hero Cats comic book. Um, and around that same time, I wanted to go ahead and get these children's books going. And so I had Marcus illustrate those, and those were doing pretty well. But in that time, we're both like sponges, so we're learning about the publishing process. We're learning. We've been vending, like selling stuff at tables for 20 years.
I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
it.
So it's like we already know what each other's thinking. You know what I'm saying? I know when Marcus ain't paying attention. He knows when I ain't paying attention. Like, so, but we still, how do you get into comic conventions? How do you make it to where you're not losing money when you go to these comic conventions? Because we don't, that's something we don't believe in is losing money. How,
I believe it.
how do you present your table? How do you know, what's your style? Like my style is just I'm gonna be myself. Which
I'm gonna tell
is
everybody about your style when we
stop
get
it,
to
man. Y'all
it.
be exaggerating. Um,
I'm gonna
but,
record you. I'm not even joking. I'm
oh,
recording you this weekend. This
oh,
weekend, I'm finna record it so everybody know I'm not bullshit.
but yeah. So we're doing all of that, but we're still like working on like projects, like ideas. We really wanted to go straight into doing movies, uh, TV shows, stuff like that. And we were actually working on an idea that we still nobody's done anything like it, and we're probably gonna spin back around to it. um I was looking to see if I had anything over here, but it's not over here. But all that to say, when we felt like we got a good handle on the publishing stuff, we're working, and then out of like I was doing a children's book signing, and this old guy comes by, elder, and he's looking kind of grumpy. He's looking at all the stuff because I was like, Marcus, come, bring your posters, whatever, whatever. So he's looking at everything, and he's like, y'all don't have nothing about pilots on here? And we're like, no. And he's like, you need to put some, do some stuff so these kids can understand our legacy. He was like a former pilot. And so, in that talking, that's like giving like, crack to two extreme crack fiends, So we're like right there. Marcus was like, man, I thought about, drawing up like a young Tuskegee Airman or something. I was like, yo, man, we could make a story out of this, like put it in the future. And we start going and going. And then he's like, yeah, we could add robots. And then it's like, but that moment where you sync up in the TV shows or the cartoons, whatever. Yeah, that's what happened. And so we kind of, like, we were both single fathers. Daddy, you took my son. You in trouble? You got to get it.
It's on the table.
So, yeah, man, we kind of neglected our kids for a week. Sent them to their grandmas. Like I sent my kids to their grandma. Marcus sent his kids. And we just, except for my son, he was like, I ain't going nowhere. But he was grown. He was like 18. So he,
man, that's crazy.
Yeah, we just sat there and started building Tuskegee Airs.
That's crazy, dude. Somebody to just drop $1 million idea on you. That's $1 million idea, dude. Like, real talk, man. I know, like, y'all put a lot of work into it.
Yeah,
but
all he said was, y'all need to do something with pilots. He wasn't talking, like, that's all he said. And, that just was like that simple spark. But that's how we come together to create. Like, dude, like, this dude called me one time. It was like 3 a.m. I'm jumping up like, you in jail? Like, what's going on? And he's like, yo, I got this idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we just start fleshing it out. I'm up all night fleshing it out. It's just how we kind of create together. And we create that way on our own too. So.
And I mean, like, you guys, I mean, just from artistically, like, the iconic and simple designs for the characters, the not just what they're wearing, but for the specific characters in and of itself. Like, no two really look alike.
Mm-hmm.
But the design for the outfits as well. It's like I see a lot of people who design characters, and a lot of people come up to me in cons and show me stuff, and they're always like these overly detailed things, and I'll be like, man, y'all gotta simplify it, man. Like, people forget stuff. The more complicated it is, the easier it is to forget.
Yeah,
and the harder that it is to cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all got something that's so easy to cosplay to, and it's just, yeah, it makes me mad. I always get mad when, like, I see like really good ideas and I ain't do them, because it's like, hey, man, why didn't I think of that? Right? Tuskegee Air, that's like right there. It's like right in my face. But and I'm gonna tell Marcus this when I see him. But what I love about you guys' designs is they straddle the line of traditional comics and anime and manga, whatever.
Yeah.
To a degree that you can just bounce back and forth. Like, you can't, people, when they come by your table, if they read anime and manga, oh snap, it's a manga. You could literally be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Some of that was like, so initially we talked and kind of agreed, Marcus brought it up and I agreed, which is like, create it so because at that time, even especially, comics wasn't our main goal. Like, our main goal was trying to get animated,
right?
So it was like, make the characters look like what we want the animation, like if it was a 2D animation, make
right.
the characters look how, so that was our that was like done on purpose.
But yeah, man, I honestly, the first time I saw it, so for those that don't know, the first time I met Greg was Dragon Con years ago, like right before COVID. Um,
Mm.
and did I know you before that though?
I feel like I feel like we,
We spoke or at least
yeah,
interacted on
on
Facebook or
Facebook.
something. Yeah. But like when I saw him, and then like I saw their table, like it's funny you were talking about how you had to learn, how to table and everything like that, because that like I learned from watching like guys like you, um, just walking around a Comic Con and seeing how people have set up. Like I remember when I first saw you guys, y'all had a ton of prints and it was like all spread out. Y'all had the printer in the back. It was just like it was this really eye-catching, you had like the what do you call it? The the apron
Oh
on the
yeah,
table,
it was.
like, and it was just really eye-catching and really colorful, and it was black, like black characters like everywhere. And I remember like being impressed. And it was one of those like where I would look at you guys and I'll look back at what I'm doing. I'm like, man, I gotta step my game up. But it was like one of those things where I learned through osmosis, like, okay, they set up like this. I need to do this and this and this and this. But like I remember y'all had like a legion of people in front of your table. It was just ridiculous. Like how many people are touched by just a simple concept of reaching back into history, modernizing it, and making it like heroic.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the original Tuskegee Airmen weren't heroic, but making it heroic in a modern level.
Yeah.
It was honestly like I was really impressed by meeting you. Actually, I think I saw y'all again though. I don't remember what. No. It was the same kind because y'all moved. Y'all were in the back.
Yeah, they
They put you all the way in the back, and y'all were like, "No, about that." Yeah,
you know
somehow.
what? We don't trip when you places, but that was a bad
Yeah,
setup the way they had it.
yeah, that was
Because it
bad.
was like our backs were to the crowd,
Yeah,
so the crowd would just pass us and go down the escalator. And so like nobody on that back row, like people weren't seen. And we were getting yelled at because, Atlanta's our hometown.
right.
So like our phones are going crazy. Like, where are you? We can't find you, like we get that. So it just happened that some guys were leaving. People were leaving early because of that. There was a hurricane in Florida, so
Oh,
people.
that's why they left.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
it was coming to Florida, so they were like, "We got to go home, take care of our families. Y'all can have this."
by the
So
way, that was like my favorite placement at a Comic Con ever
yeah,
because
yeah,
I was on the edge. I was on the edge,
mm,
so nobody was sitting next to me. I
yep,
was right by an aisle, and I was right by the door. And I
mm,
just had that was beautiful. I
yeah,
miss Dragon Con. I wish I was going this year.
mhm,
But yeah, man. So like I said, you guys have this a great you have very great crossover appeal. Like you hit all these these markets. You hit,
mhm,
black folks, manga fans, traditional superhero fans who love like the 80s, robot
yeah,
cartoons, cartoony fans. Like it's amazing how pliable the concept is, how diverse, and multifaceted it is.
yeah.
And I know,
And
it was. Go ahead.
it was crazy because we got like it blew up before a book came out. Before any book came out, had already gone viral, and it was going nuts. And so we were in this situation. Like now, my brain, I'm like, dude, I got to figure out how we can make this comic book live up to the to the hype.
Right.
Like imagine like you're a boxer, you never fought anybody, and people are calling you the next Ali. You know what I'm saying? So we were like, okay, now we really got to get in the lab, which I mean we always plan to do, but
Right.
it's that next level of pressure. So it's like when you put the book out, you're like
Yeah.
racing, and I think that's the thing because the concept can get you so far,
Right.
the art style can get you so far, our personalities, whatever. But the book, like when you read the book, does that like motivate you to buy more? Does that
Right.
make you keep coming back? Does that make you tell your people? And we saw it right away, because it's like the first show we did with that book, it was New York. It was the Black Comics Fest in Harlem, and we sold out of them. I took, what was it, 400? I think took 400 books, sold every one of them. Like, I mean, I had so much cash, man. I was like throwing it up on the bed, like, make it rain. I say I, but it's we, you know. And so, yeah, and so then it's like, oh shit, let's see what people say.
Right.
And within a week, because we had set it up on the website, everything. Within a week, orders, like, and that's okay. Word of mouth got out. New York, is aggressive, so they're like, get this book.
Right.
All these people start ordering the books, and then we go city to city, and people are reading the books, and you see the same thing every time you leave. Like today, I had to fill, like, I had like 20 orders from the DC, from the DMV area to the, just from today.
BlurCon.
Yeah, so it's like that's the point. Schools order the books, libraries order the books. That's when
Yeah.
So
I'm jealous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm jealous.
and
No, just mess with you.
somebody said they want to hear about the new book, which is cool, because that was the
we gonna get there.
Yeah.
I had to hear about how Tuskegee Airs came about.
Yeah,
like I had to hear that, and I had to give him his flowers, man. Because again, the one of the things that like, as much as I love the book that I put out, Heat and Strong and all that, one of the best things you can do is like make a concept that when people hear the title,
it's
like
automatic.
It's automatic.
Right.
Was it David? I forgot his last name. Is it Crowson?
Crownson.
Yeah. Harriet Tubman, Demons. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
automatically, I gotta
right. Like, I gotta at least see what this is about.
Yeah.
It's like when you do things like that, and so for you guys to have just a concept that you immediately, like, you see Tuskegee and you're like, all right, like I want to hear more, and then okay, cool. And that's why I joke about how Greg and Marcus don't have to sell. They just kind of sit there like this, like they talk with their friends, and people just come up and be like, "Yo, can I buy this?" And they be like, "Yeah, sure, yeah. If you want to, they be like, this photo here is exactly how you see Greg. He don't do that. You just sit there, you just be like, all right, just you can drop the money anywhere, I'll highlight you. Take the book, go ahead. So, but that's one of the things, like, I've always appreciated about the concept, and it allows for less selling, like, because when you do just a regular superhero book, people want to hear, why is this, why should I care about this one more than the other ones? Whereas this one is a concept that it grabs you.
And I will say, because since we see it, like, firsthand, I will say that there's also like a way you package. So like my the book I'm doing with my brother, The Story of Solace, like, we'll get people that'll walk up to the table, we'll have all the other stuff on, and they see this cover and they like, what's this? And I'll be like, well, this is actually Teen Plus. This isn't for yeah. But what is it?
Right.
So it's like there is something, and we learned this way before Tuskegee here, because our tables have always been lit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're gonna make you have to be able to make your product look attractive. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's intriguing based off the name or the art or conceptually, but you gotta, so we just, like, I remember us going, having tables, and we ain't have like the best day. I'm like, yo, I think we need a banner. I still got our banner from our, website business.
Okay.
Downstairs, you know what I'm saying? The banners, it still looks good. It's colorful. It's eye catching. It stands out from most things that you're gonna see. So it's like that was us, being young in our 20s and dissecting, trying to figure out how to execute, how to create a table. Like there's a reason why we lay everything flat on our table. It's not because we're lazy or because we don't want to afford like the little stands and all that kind of stuff. There's a reason why we do that. There's a reason why, like, we don't jump out and hunt people down to buy books. So it might look you know like lackadaisical, but there's really a method to everything that we do. Everything that you see from us, we we're doing it on purpose.
Right. No,
It's
I get it. Because everybody's got their own selling style.
yeah.
Everyone here, everybody knows me, knows that I wait for the rubberneck. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? When somebody walks by and they be like, then I'll be like, man, you come back over here. And it's almost like I always felt like people are looking for a reason to stop.
Mhm.
And so like they'll
But
see what I got and they'll be like, that's interesting. But should I stop? And then I'd be like, man, come on over here, dude. And I'll say something funny. And then they willing to listen. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
you figure out, but that's it. Like you figure out what style works for you. Like the style that, like, I've had to tell people, like it, because we'll have people that'll help us and just be like, hey man, don't be hawking people down. Don't be begging people to come to the table. If they want to walk away, let them walk away. Like, we're not doing none of that. Nothing is obligatory here.
Right,
You're
right.
interested, then I'll talk to you until
Yep.
my head falls off. But and you'll be surprised at how many people walk by you the first time, and they'll be looking, and then when they see you look, they'll walk away, you know, and then come back later, whether it's that day or the next day.
Oh yeah. Oh
Back
yeah.
by, you'll be surprised how many people will ask you a whole bunch of questions, and you'll be like, "Oh, you just wasting my time" or whatever. That would be your first thought, but then they might come back with like three people and try to buy up the table.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
you know, um, it's like anybody that comes to the table, we're gonna treat nice, respect, love, like all that good stuff. But we're not gonna, I'm not a salesman. I don't want to be a salesman. I'm not gonna be like, hey man, you upsize your fries. Like, I'm not doing none of that. Like, this is what we have. If you want to know about it, that's fine. I'll be cheery even if you don't. If you want to talk
Right.
about a milestone or whatever, cool. But it's just,
I feel you. I feel you. I usually I'm gonna give you the hook, and I'll be like, I give you the hook. I tell you what the book is about real quick, and then I'll be like, feel free to flip through it, and then
mm-hmm,
you flip through it, and then if I see you flip through it, and you're like, oh okay, then I'll be like, then I'll talk a little bit about like the book, but for the most part, like it's not. I mean, I don't think you've ever seen me like sell. Like we were kind of far away from each other. We're
yeah.
probably gonna be far away from each other. Probably gonna be far away from each other on Saturday. But I do, and I'm kind of talking about this because I actually have a panel that I'm about to pitch
Mm-hmm.
about telling people how to like sell at a con because I get a lot of compliments, especially people who sit right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, it happens a lot, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Yo, man, you really good. You really sell well." And I'd be like, "Man, I just sometimes like you said, like there are times where I might talk about sports for the entire time the person is there just because they're wearing like
Mm-hmm.
a Tom Brady jersey or and
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I'm with you. I've seen everything that you said. Like I'll tell one last story and then we could talk about the search. But I had this one young lady in a wheelchair. Actually, it was like four of them. It was four young ladies all in wheelchairs, and they were just wheeling around the con. And so she wheeled by me. She looked like she looked at the table, and I was like, "Hey, you want to see the book?" And she was like, "No, no, I'm good." And she like took off, like she like damn near did a wheelie. But then she came back like near the end of the day and was like, "Yeah, I want that one." She didn't ask what it was about. She was just like, "I want that one." So I was like, "Bet." So I do get it. Although I do have like my thing. I always tell people, this is my running joke. But when people come to the table and they start looking through it and they be like, so how long you been doing this? Like in my mind, like they ain't buying nothing. Like, because it seems to be the same thing every time. They're just kind of like, they just want to talk to you, which is fine. Like, I don't mind talking, when if it's not busy, but
Yeah.
when it's
Yeah,
busy.
I tell a story. So just at AwesomeCon, like last month, there's this young Caucasian dude that comes to our table, and he comes, and I'm just gonna be honest, he knows way more about Milestone Comics than I do. He's not 30 years old. He might be like 24, 25. I'm talking about the 90s
Right.
Milestone. And so my friend was there and she was helping. And I think for her, she's probably like, okay, y'all been talking a long time. Like, that's enough. But for me and him are having a geek out.
Right.
We're, and I know, because I've seen kids like him where people, kind of try to drive them away from their tables.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he always comes, comes to, he'll come to me and Marcus, and it's like, no, you're welcome, man. Like, he talking, and like he read my story, man. He almost had me, the story I had in the Milestone Initiative. He had me, like, eyes watering because he's talking about how beautiful this story is and stuff. I'm like, nah, this the homie, man. You can stay as long as you want,
That's right. That's
And
right.
but that's always our thing. Like, this is a social event.
Right.
And so I'm gonna be social. I can't draw, so I'm not gonna be drawing on nobody's commissions. I've tried to be writing the scripts or working on some work while I'm at a convention. I can't do it. So I'm here for you, and I'm here for you at whatever capacity you need. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if my only goal was to sell comics, then I might be standing up in the aisle, but that's not it.
But you're also at a different place though, right? Like you're in a different place of, not that you were doing it before, but you're in a different place where your brand is a little more well known. So it's probably, do you feel like there's a lot less work involved regarding like sales?
Nah, I mean,
No?
I've been this way for
Okay.
as long as I can. Like, people used to tell me, like, when I do interviews or like radio interviews, all that kind of stuff, people be like, "Oh man, you need to talk up. You need to put more bass in your voice." I'm like, man, this is my voice. Like, if they can't hear what I'm saying,
Right.
I've never. It's just like, I'm just gonna be who I am.
I feel you.
I won't lie. Like, when we first, were getting tables, I would be, I would feel like more pressure on myself to, like, get up and, and I would go home and not feel good about who I was. And so I'm just, I'm just going to be who I am. Different people sell different ways. Like,
Right.
that's all I say. I'm not there. I mean, you know what it is? Because I try to explain this to people, and I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but we put so much work into this stuff on the front end that when you pick it up and you start flipping through it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're reading it, you're looking at what we're presenting, and you don't want it, then you're probably not gonna want. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
I get it. I totally understand.
yeah. So it's like, we put the work into that. I would rather have a quality product and a chilled out, style than be like super good at selling, and then people get home and open the book. Because I've done that. Like, people have, got me. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, I get home and it's like, oh,
No, I get it.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's that thing. Put in that work and have that confidence that you can stand on. Like, I've had people like come up and be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna check this out, and if I don't like it, I'm sure gonna go ahead, say what you got to say.
Don't matter to me.
It's hard to find bad reviews on any of the books that I've done.
I feel you, man. I'm right there with this older white lady who I don't know her name, and I'm so sorry I don't know her name, but I met her at Contropolis, Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
And she came to the table and she's like, it's really nice. I'm coming back. I'm gonna come back. And sometimes when people say that, you're just like, okay, all right, So she's like, I'm gonna come back. And I think she came back like the next day, bought every single book I had, like every single book, and then came back the next day because it was a 3-day con. She came back the next day and was like, I just started reading. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this past weekend at Contropolis, New Jersey, she was there again.
Wow.
And she came by the table. She's like, I just finished this one and I love it. I love it. And so she kept walking by my table. Dude, every time she walked by and somebody was at my table, she's like, I loved it. It was so nice. But she was scaring the hell out of people because she wouldn't let them know that she was coming up. It was like a sneak attack. Like it was just like they was talking, they'd be talking to me and she just roll up on them and be like, I loved it. And she'd be like, oh, okay, there's somebody there. But like that's the type of stuff that I'm with you on there. Let's get to the search, man. Let's get to the search. I don't want to, you got a Kickstarter campaign going for it right now.
That is true.
Let me get the caption up. There's a Kickstarter campaign right there. That's the link. And I should be better at this by now, but I'm an artist. What can you say? Now, is it Sadiq?
It's Sadaka.
Sadaka. All right. That's why I didn't want to butcher it. The search for Sadaka. So tell us about the search for Sadaka, man.
So I was looking. I got everything on the table except that right now on my desk.
Come on, man.
The search for Sadaka is a historical action adventure, and it takes place in the 1920s. A young 13-year-old girl, she's going to flee Tulsa, Oklahoma after the Black Wall Street Massacre. Yeah, I don't have any. And she goes on this quest across the Southwest United States, trying to find this mythological tribe of people that she thinks she belongs to. In her travels, she'll end up kind of becoming a hero to the people she comes across. So I already have 2.5 issues, but I started with 0 for the origin.
Mm-hmm.
So we're now, doing the thing for number 2.
Okay, all right. I think I got number 1 somewhere. Is it 0 that you had out last time for the last Kickstarter?
No,
was it 1?
I've done a Kickstarter for all of them.
So I think I got 1. It's in my pile. It's in my pile of Kickstarter rewards. I feel so bad. I got so many Kickstarter books.
Man, you saw today. I was asking Morgan. I'm like, yo, did you get that? Because I feel like I sent it, but maybe I didn't. But
I don't know. I gotta check. I know I got something from you. No, yeah. I know what I just got from you. I got the book.
Oh,
the children's book that my son read. Yeah. My son read it. I believe my wife read it to him. I believe she said she loved it. But yeah, this Sadaka. Search. So what genre would you say this fits in?
It's like a historical action adventure. There's we're splicing in some fantasy stuff, but I wouldn't call it like full fantasy. I found, a couple years ago at Anime NYC, it's a funny story. Like there's 2 girls, I think they were Japanese, or no, they were Chinese. And one of them is like geeking out. Like she already knows who we are, so she's like, I want this, I want that. And the other one is just kind of off to the side. Like she doesn't seem like she all the way wants to be there. And so she's, she's like, I guess I'll grab something, so I can, for the train ride home. And so she gets, the first 2 issues of Sadaka. She, leaves. The next day, I just see her out of the blue. And this is when, everybody has to still be masked up. And she just makes a mad dash to me and, runs up. She's like, dude, do you know what you did? Do you know what you did? And I'm like, what did I do? And she was like, you just made a freaking wuxia movie. Like, this should be a wuxia anime or movie, and she's like going crazy. And I felt good because she sees me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what, when it gets to anime or live action, it's gonna be in the the wuxia vein. So, like the Crouching Tiger, House of Flying Daggers, like that type of story is what it is. So that was a long way to say that, but yeah.
Okay, all right, man. I love the character design. Who designed the character?
So Marcus, like at that time, he wasn't like, so busy like he is now. So it was easy for me to be like, hey man, meet me here. And then and make sure you bring your tool. And so that's how that one worked. He helped. So it's the thing, it's like I'm kind of telling him what I want, and then he goes crazy and makes it look better than how I wanted it. So
Okay, all right. I'm not gonna bring up that that you turned me down to doing a variant cover. Like that would be
oh
petty
no,
of me.
man, you know how
That would be
budgets
petty
work.
of
The way budgets
dude. I
work
would
is
have gave y'all. I would have just gave it to you.
I don't do that. I don't let nobody give me nothing. I pay for
It's no
everything.
big deal, man. Come on
It's
now.
a no. I pay for everything, man.
I
Like
appreciate it.
because I respect the craft. I respect people's time. So it's like, yeah. So we already had it. Plus, we already had like the printing budget, to only print
Okay.
4 covers basically.
All
So
right. I got y'all for number 3. Y'all just let me know. Just holler at me.
will do. So yeah, but it's it's all ages book, just like like in the same vein as Tuskegee Airs. Had like really really good reviews from it. One of the things, so with Tuskegee, it's like we're juggling. We got so many main characters, but with Sadaka, it's just she's the main character. She does have sidekicks. She has people, but
T to
because
focus.
yes, so it's like people get to know her better, like faster, than so that's one of the things that I've heard. Again, it still has like a historical, like this next issue, we're actually going to a small, I don't know if you want to call it a town, but so back in like the early 1900s, a man named Frank Boyer, who lived in Georgia. He was a professor. He's a black man. This is he studied homesteading. So him and one of his students went on this walk, and they walked to like New Mexico, and they took some odd jobs and stuff so they could get their money back up to where they wanted it to be, and they bought some land and created a town, and it's called Blackdom, DOM after black, and so they created this town. They started like recruiting to, kind of like some of the other black towns, people from all over the country. So some people came. It never got like super duper huge, but they had teachers come from different places, all these different people, and he ran the town for quite some time before like their water source dried out. um, but he just went to another part of New Mexico and started a new one. So
Yeah, just be out there making towns.
yeah, you're like, what, this one was good, let's go to the
This
next
was fun. I'm gonna
he
do
was able
another
to
one.
he was able to bring his wife and his family out. So you know um it's like I like to put like these achievements in, like so people can see, like if you think I made it up, you can go Google it, you know.
Right.
It'll blow your mind, because think about this. This is like, this man walks across the south
Right. Right.
place where it's difficult for a black man to walk. But it speaks to the ingenuity, like the bravery and the strength of our people. And it's kind of spits in the face of those, those same old tropes, that we were just slaves, and
Right.
you know, you know, so yeah, man, it's a pretty cool story. I love it. I'm getting to show like different cultural things, and people seem to enjoy it. Um,
Yep. This is
I
amazing,
was
man.
Yeah, I was doing this thing where my agent, we were pitching it for like a major publishing deal, but I didn't like the way those conversations, like when people started saying, well, we don't know if this is marketable. And I'm like, I've sold thousands of these books. Like I have people DMing me, emailing me, seeing me in person and threatening my life because they want the next book. So I don't think that's not a question for me. If that's a question for you, then
Right.
it's just like with Tuskegee when we were, working the pitch circuit. It's like we were like we had a spoken rule to each other, which is if I have to come in here and explain to you why this is dope or like why this is a good idea, then I don't want to talk to you. Like I don't care who you are. I don't want to talk to you because we already passed that hurdle.
Right. Right.
And I say that with like tons of humility because it's not me,
No, I feel
going
it.
crazy. It's the fans. It's the people that have already validated us.
Right. No, I feel you, man. I remember I went through I didn't really do a pitch circuit. I think I did. I think I sent out when I first was doing Heat. I
Mm-hmm.
think I sent out the pitch for it and the first issue. This is back. I had just printed out like 25 copies
Mm-hmm.
of the first issue. And this is before I even did the Kickstarter for it. And I remember sending it out, and I ain't hear nothing. I ain't hear Nathan. I ain't even get rejection letters. Like, so I was just like, you know what? This ain't, I
Yeah.
could probably do this on my own.
Right.
And, we almost 10 years later,
Yeah.
hundreds of books, man, thousands really, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah.
But, it's just interesting how things progress. And, to hear you go, you did the pitch circuit and you
Mhm.
got people really like side eyeing you, like, I don't
We
know.
are, dude, but we also had offers. Like we could have a show right now if we would have been willing to bend on certain things
Yeah,
we didn't want to bend on.
it's always that way. It's
Yeah.
always that way.
So, we got some stuff, happening behind the scenes. We don't really talk then about it because, at this point, talking, is really cheap. So we just keep cranking. But there's that thing, man, where it's like, what validation do I really need? Because I already know the game. I'm a sports nut. So I already know the game. I already know that when who was a free agent this year? Like when you could ball out for a team, but look what happened with Lamar Jackson. You got MVPs.
MVPs.
You've done all this stuff. You're the only reason your offense moves, and then you get into negotiations, and they telling you everything you're doing wrong, even though you got a freaking bitty ball offensive coach. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Shoot,
like,
literally the team got worse when you were there.
right, easily worse.
Easily.
And now I gotta sit and listen to you tell me all the stuff I can't do. Like, get out of here, man. And that's the point. It's just to lower the type of money that they gotta give you. They sitting back licking their chops, like praying that they can be the ones to do this. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. No, I get
But they
it.
want you to be stupid. And I used to be stupid.
Well, a lot of folks, they jump at the money.
Hmm.
So to have the confidence in the confidence in your product and the integrity to be like, nah, this ain't it. Like, no, I'm not changing. I'm not putting in a white character
Yeah,
I'm not gonna put in a random white character so that the men's team of
literally.
America can feel good about themselves. Yeah, I know you ain't told me that, and I already know that they did that. Like,
Dude,
I know
I
enough
they
about
had
the animation industry
they
that I
had
know
one
how they
thing.
work.
Yeah, they were like, would you be interested in, making one of them like Latino or something?
And yeah,
I'm like, well, hold on, because yeah, we have one of our characters is Afro Latino. We do have a Afro Caribbean on the team. We do have an African on the team. We have, as the stories go, you'll
yeah,
be able to, like, we had two kids that are like American, because um a lot of people don't know, but there were like Caribbean dudes in the real Tuskegee Airmen. There were Haitians,
right.
some from the Virgin Islands. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is, that was the history anyway. So yeah, but yeah, he's gonna be Afro Latino, and then he's like, guys shut down because what he really meant was Euro, like Euro Latino. You know what I'm saying? So now he's mad because, but we know the game. We've been doing stuff for a long time.
I know. I mean, listen, man, y'all definitely earned it. Hold on one second. Let's see what the people say. Savion, what's up? Savion, I got to reach out to you, man. This is a young man who's trying to do what we do now. He's at the beginning of the journey. They're different. Listen, I keep trying to tell people there are levels to this, man, and it's the amount of work that you put in. Because there's always, competition, and there's always somebody working harder. So I always, we've talked a lot just about the industry stuff and because you've got experiences with with like everybody, and especially in the Black indie community. It's a big community, but it's tighter. I'm realizing as I go in, it's like tighter than and closer than and you can imagine. You can, your reputation can get around like real quick.
Yeah.
And so, but I wanted to talk about. I got to talk about this. I got to talk about Milestone Initiative. Yeah. Look at that dude right there. The same. He's been using the same profile shot for everything. I'm gonna need you to get it together, man. I ain't even you no more.
Look, I was telling my friend, everybody yells at me, but DC and HBO and all them people, they ain't yell at me, so y'all can stuff it.
There you go. So you were one of I won't say lucky. Lucky is not the right word. You were one of the talented few to get a chance at this groundbreaking initiative. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Hey, listen, I be using the same one. I ain't even as thin as I was in the one that
I'm not. I was a little bit svelte in that picture.
I was definitely thinner in the picture that I'd be using. The one on the one I just put out. But anyway, so you got to be a part of this initiative, and you and we've talked. I met a couple of people through the initiative that were in the initiative with you, and you just did a icon story in the most recent initiative book, which I loved, by the way. Got to read it. There it is. You had number one. I got one question. Did you get to pick the character that you did, and like who determined the story that was going to be told?
So I don't know how much, because they still didn't all the way remove the gag order. They never came through and said, "Okay, you're free to talk now." We just did a podcast a couple of weeks ago with a bunch of us, really cool podcast, and even then we had like a DC guy on the podcast,
like this,
like he's just a PR guy, so he can watch it and see what they're allowed to put out. So I'll just say, basically they asked for like 3 pitches, and they had like 3 different criteria for what the pitches were. And that came from every writer had to come up with 3. And then they, basically read through them and figured out which ones they were going to use.
Okay.
So my pitches, I pitched something for Starlight because I feel like they don't even use her and she could be a dope character. I pitched the team up with Static and somebody. And then I pitched this one. So they picked this one, and then I immediately went into panic mode because it was only, I already knew it was going to be an 8-pager, but I put so much stuff into that pitch that it need literally I had people saying this needs to be like a 4 to 6 book run. You can't do this in 8 pages.
Well, yeah. There was a lot there. There's a lot of meat left on the bone. I felt reading that book.
Yeah, and so, but I embraced those challenges. I love those challenges. So it was like, let me figure out how to, what I got to cut out, and then figure out how to pace it. And they did, like, they gave us mentors. I had Matthew Rosenberg, who was like, I already like him as a writer, but I mean, I love him as a writer. Uh,
He
and
wrote
his book,
Hawkeye, right?
he's written on so many things. Right now, he's doing Wildcats. Uh,
Okay.
he's
Yeah, yeah.
doing the Joker series.
Oh, okay.
This is one of his, like, it's with Image, but it's also, kind of his
Is it
creator own.
what's
What's the
the
furthest place from here?
oh, okay.
Yeah, he's prolific. He's like, every month he'll have like 4 or 5, 6 books popping up on the shelf.
Mm.
So yeah, and so him, my editor Ben Mears, it was like everybody, I would just like lean on them just to get what their ideas would be of how to pace it out. But then inevitably it all falls on you, right? So yeah, so I got to choose, the characters.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know there was a initiative, to pun intended, to get you on the Icon book.
Yeah,
Um,
there was people yelling about it on the
I
TikTok.
think that would be great, man. I think you have a very good, especially because you seem to enjoy using historical,
Mm-hmm.
true historical facts in your stories, and he's a character that spans
Like
generations,
200 years old. Yeah.
right? And so, like, I think that would be a very great marriage. Who can you do this? I don't know if you're able to do this. I'm gonna try. If they said we want you on the Icon series, starting number one, you could who are you picking as an artist?
Oh man. See, so
Did I do
man.
that to you?
Yeah, because so it's like I've already worked with some. Like right now, I'm working with some dope artists on some stuff. Of course, I always, I've been working with Marcus for so long. I mean, they probably not gonna let me have Dennis. Like I would, just for the, because it's milestone.
Right.
I would love it to be Dennis Cowan, but I don't even know if I could like direct. I probably would just be like, do whatever you want to do, sir.
Yeah, I'll put the words in later.
Like that's like me coaching, Michael Jordan or something. It's
Right.
like, what can I tell you, So I don't know, man. There's still some great artists that I want to work with. There's some dudes from the Milestone Initiative while I am working with a couple of people, there's some that I would love to work with as well. So I think that would be like a beautiful thing because it's like kind of a full circle thing.
Right.
So I don't know. I wouldn't say, and if I'm being honest, they probably wouldn't let me choose anyway. Uh,
That's why I asked, man. That's why I asked
yeah,
you.
but I mean,
I,
they might ask for input. Ultimately, like if Dennis or Reggie wanted to pick the artist, I would let them because
they're
you know,
Dennis and Reggie. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So
actually I genuinely regret not doing it. I remember at the time it was going on, I was in the middle of doing, I think the book I just put out, and I was like, well, if I do this, that means I got to stop doing this. And and this one makes me money right now. This one I might not even. So like, I think if I were to go do it again, I would absolutely do it. But
yeah,
everybody who's made it absolutely deserved it.
yeah.
So many
I think
talented people.
I think like even with me, so my first when I saw it come out, me and a couple of guys that you know are kind of known already, like we were like, they know where we at. Why don't they,
Right. That's kind of how I
like,
felt.
and so that, I'm definitely like I be in shows sitting next to these people. Like when I walked in the door, I know people not because of me, schmoozing or, any of that, but because like, yo, you sat like my, and I don't even want to say that because I'm not trying to go that way. Um, all I'll
Hey, I'm
say
a
is
schmoozer. Everybody know
no,
me,
no,
man.
I'm
I
not.
be talking to everybody.
Yeah, but I'm not. That's why I said I'm not gonna go that way because I'm not complaining about it. It's just not my style. My style is put my hands in the ground and work. And so when we go to conventions, we go to like, we go for the fans, move copies. You know what I'm saying? So all that to say, I had all these excuses why I wasn't going to do it. But at the end of the day, I had to ask myself, is it a fear of rejection? Um, uh, is it like do I maybe I don't feel like I'm good enough? Like one of my friends basically cussed me out, and she was like, you work yourself to the bone with this self-publishing. That's why I'm doing a Kickstarter right now. People don't understand. They see us at all these shows. They see us selling books, all that kind of stuff. This stuff is exhausting. I was at the post office for 4 hours today, mailing stuff off. Like, I mean, at the post office, I got there at a certain time at 11 o'clock, and I did not leave there till 3 because you can only mail so many. It was crazy. I'm not saying I had a million, but I had to deal with the lines.
No, I believe it.
So it's like all this stuff. So my friend, she was like, why don't you just see what happens? Like, wouldn't it be great if you could write a script and then you don't have to manage the artist and you don't have to manage everything and you could just, sit back and wait for it to come out? And so, like, I promise you, I decided a few days before the deadline. I went in there, I looked at the prompt, I filled out all the application stuff. I looked at the prompts because you had to write like this sample script. So, and the artists, they had a sample script and they had to create the panels and pages. So I think on the Friday I wrote the script. Saturday I didn't look at it because that's kind of what I do. Like, and then the Sunday before, it was supposed to be due by like 12 a.m. or whatever, I went back, looked at the script, added a little thing here, took a little thing out there. And I'll never, like, sometimes I know, and I'm like, I critique myself really, really hard.
Right.
And so it's like, when I pressed send, I literally ran down the stairs and jumped in my brother's face. And I was like, if they don't take me, they crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I killed this.
You put your foot in it.
Yeah. Sometimes you be like, and then people be like, oh, this is so great. I'm like, yeah, it is kind of cool. But this one, I was like, nah, it's a wrap. So, so yeah. And then there was even more. Like, so when people when people say luck, and I'm not saying this directed at you, but I'm just saying, like, when people say luck, or they make it sound like I got in because, of some other reason. No, because after that, you had to do a couple of interviews. It was like a process. It was like, trying to get a government job or something, background, like all kinds of stuff you had to do. So that's why I felt the whole time like I'm supposed to be here. I'm worthy of being here. And they even told us that. I gotta flash this because I got yelled at. I don't like to get yelled at. Text yelled at. I do have this thing right here. This is gonna be one of the covers for the new book.
I think I saw. Yeah, we saw that in the link.
Yeah, my homie did this. It's like an acrylic. It's like a half-inch thick, and it really pops in real life. I don't know if you can see. You see?
No, I see that. It's nice. Yeah. Nice little reflection. So, that's awesome.
Yeah. So this is one of the covers. This is what one of the covers is gonna look like.
Yeah, man. I remember, because I remember I was like, should I do this as a writer or should I do this as an artist? Like I think I was frozen because I wasn't sure which one to do, and I was like, well, I'm both. Like, I want to do both, but like there's no, you had to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't want to be like, well, if I do it as an artist, then am I going to get pigeonholed as an artist? But I'm a writer.
No, it's not like,
but again, this is all stuff going in my head at the same time as I'm thinking, well, if I stop this, then I have to stop doing that. But again, I'm happy that, everybody who got an opportunity to do it, we all don't have the same journey to get where we're going. and we
Right.
could still get there. I actually got I got my own milestone initiative weekend. I got to sit next to Dennis Cohen
Oh
for
yeah.
3 straight days.
Yes.
At
That's
literally, like, I'm here and he's here, and it was at a really slow con. So we
oh
were just talking like the entire time. He spent game. He's telling me he read my book. He did he was just like
yeah.
giving me game.
He's awesome, man.
But the funny part about it is, at the end of the whole con, like, he had read my book. He sat next to me. He heard me pitching my book and everything. And he comes over. He probably don't want me to tell people this, but whatever. And he leaned in and he goes, "You need to get somebody else to do Heat and Strong." And in my mind, I'm like, is he telling me I'm not a good artist? And I
Mhm.
had to, like, but he was like, you have, you have the ability to come up with, all these ideas, and you could still get paid off Heat and Strong, but you can go out and do other things like that. Like, you can't do everything yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, he wasn't talking to me criticizing my artwork. He was talking to me criticizing my business plan of, like,
Oh,
me doing the artist, the writer, and everything. He was like, yo, he's like, when I see you next time, I don't want to see you doing Heat. I want to see you doing something else too, and somebody else doing Heat. And he was telling me how, he signs every copy of Static that he gets because he created Static and he can do that. And he's like, you can do this. So, like, it was, honestly, it was one of the best. He gave me his phone number. Like,
yeah. No, he's a yeah. And
I'm going to see him in like 3 weeks. He'll be up here in Connecticut.
okay.
Yeah. So, like,
Yeah,
he
no,
was just
dude.
he's the greatest person, man. It was such a
Yeah,
great
and that's
opportunity.
the thing, man. Like when you understand how the machine works, because that's one of the biggest takeaways when we went out to Burbank and we got to actually see and they broke down how they make comics, which seems like it should be a basic thing, right? But you start to see all the moving parts and how the machine works, and like I shouldn't be editing my own comic. You know what I'm saying? I should have
Right.
somebody else, but I'm doing it. I do have people that kind of chime in, and I can bounce ideas off of and stuff. But it's like one man for each part of the process, and things go along a lot smoother. They get done quicker, and a lot of times they're gonna get done better. So like I wouldn't take that personally. That's him giving you game that like
Well, no, it was
other
like,
people.
he said that first. He was like,
Oh
find
yeah,
somebody, and it was like a split second of these, but then he followed it up with the rest of the stuff. And so, who is this Negro? No, in all honesty, like, he said it to me, and, like, after he said it, it, like, sat with me because I was in Philly
hmm
and I had to drive back to Connecticut like that night and that day. So the entire drive, like, I'll be perfectly honest, it was like the the part of me that focuses on negative focused on that first part.
yeah.
But then once I was able to get past it, I was like, nah, he was just telling me to do more. Like, he was telling me to,
Well,
like, expand and
it's
and
that
and
it's the thing that Michael Jordan told Kobe is like sometimes doing less, it's gonna get you to
right,
be better because you're doing
absolutely,
less, and then it allows people around you to pick up and carry the weight.
right,
Ironically, when Kobe said that about LeBron, people thought he was hating, but it's something that LeBron still hasn't all the way learned, right? We
yeah.
if you watch the finals this past year,
I'm not
it's
gonna
like,
do this with you, man.
oh,
Like, I want
I
Danny
got my
coming in.
29, 8, and 8.
I want Danny to come in and start,
He can't come in. He probably
But
gonna
yeah, it's something
Danny.
that I've actually taken, taken that, I found a couple artists to do it. And so, like, I do understand that, like,
So now
I would
you
have
sit back
less.
and direct and
Right, exactly.
yeah,
So, again, Dennis is the man, and he was so nice. His sister was a beautiful person. She was there with her husband. I literally was hanging with the whole family.
yeah.
But
He's
he was such a great person. So, I can only imagine, him being there to help you guys along, especially Reggie Hudlin,
Mm-hmm.
who has a legendary career.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's a whole roster of people there to help you guys. And honestly, I've said this to you before, but I'm proud of you as a brother for your accomplishment and getting to that level, because you already killing it in the indie game, and we all trying to just level up.
Yeah,
Like all
and
of us are just trying to level up.
that's all. Is like I I want to. It's not even for fame or nothing like that, man. Like, first of all, this is fun. I am waiting. I got a Superman story coming out.
I wasn't sure if I should say anything about
Oh yeah,
that.
I'm allowed to talk about it.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go
I've
ahead,
been
man, go
allowed to
ahead.
talk about it,
I
but
I wasn't sure, so
I
I wasn't
just
gonna say nothing.
I'm just starting to get more comfortable talking about it, especially since I've seen these art pages start coming in. I'm like,
Oh,
oh
you
my,
got art coming. You
yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
so
You gotta tell people where they can find it though. Can you
oh
do
yeah,
that yet?
no, it doesn't come out until October 3rd.
I mean, don't never
It's
hurt.
gonna be in the anthology. Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun. It's like the Halloween kind of anthology. It's fun. It's horror. Like, mine is a horror story, but um, it's so fun. Like, I've never really done fan art, or fan fiction, that kind of stuff. So it's like I would always be like, I ain't never gonna be able to write this, dude. So why should I waste my time writing this? And so it's like when when it came across, my face, I was kind of like, super what? Who is this? Who is super what? What are we doing here? Because I had never thought, like, I never, how you think, like, oh, if I got to write this guy, I would do this and that. I just had to,
Really?
yeah, I had to just come up with it, because it's like some
Man, I got
certain
pictures
stuff.
for all these comics. I got
See,
pictures for
yeah,
every character you
I
can
have,
imagine. I'm ready.
I
Like,
have,
I don't know
I
about
have.
you.
Here's my thing. Give me 2 days, and I can come up with a pitch for any.
Nah, I'm
Uh,
ready. I'm
um,
ready. Like, I have had my Superman story for like 20 years now.
but see,
Ready.
that's not. It's very rare that it's gonna work where they're just gonna say, "Hey, what do you want to do
No,
with
I
Superman?"
know. But
They're
I
gonna
mean, I'm just
say,
saying, if somebody were to ask me,
"Yeah, yeah, yeah."
I'm like, it's not like I gotta be like, oh, let me get back to you. Like, if they were just like, yeah, give me something real quick. I'm like, I bet, let's do that.
Yeah,
So,
it's gonna normally be like they're gonna give you like
right.
parameters right out, like
Or
this
just
one.
be like, nah.
But no, they're gonna, like, this one. It's like, yo, I need it to be horror. You got this many pages. You got, yakety smack. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if they just gave you like like a open world, not sandbox, but open world, maybe.
But
But
I have a Marvel story. I don't know if I ever told you my Marvel story.
don't tell me on here, because
No, it's okay.
yeah.
It's all right. They know. I mean, so I gotten this is back when I was a baby in the industry. This was like my first con.
Hmm.
First. I did Terrificon, and one of the big editors at Marvel, CC Sobolski,
Hmm.
am I pronouncing his name? He
Yeah.
was there, and he was doing like portfolio reviews. And like everybody at my table, I had a bunch of my friends there. I was actually cold tabling with somebody, and they're like, "Yo, you got to go! Like, you got to go show them your stuff." Like, and in my mind, I'm like, "Nah, man, I got to make sales, dude. Like, I can't leave my table." And they're like, "Nah, you got to go. You got to go." So I was like, "All right, I'll go." So I went, and he had like a thing that was like, "I'll be back in like 5 minutes." So I was like, man, I'm not standing here waiting. I'm missing sales. Like, I went back, and they're like, dude, go stand in line. We'll take care of everything. So I go stand in line. I'm standing, there's nobody at the table. I'm just standing there like with my stuff. And then it was like people just started forming behind me.
Mm.
So everybody's like, all right, well, if he gonna wait, I'm gonna wait. So anyway, he comes back. I show him my portfolio, and he's flipping through it, and he's like, okay, okay, all right, okay, okay, all right. He's like, yeah, yeah. And then he got along to one of my covers, and he's like, yeah, I really like this. And then he was like, okay, and he and not like he gave me a job on the spot, but he was just like, yeah, here's my card. I want you to email me, and then we'll talk. And I'm just like, dude, you couldn't tell me nothing for the rest of the con. Like I
Yeah.
was like, bet, like this, me. I just want my foot in the door. So I email him, and then he doesn't get back to me for like maybe 2 days, but he puts me in touch with somebody else, and they're like, listen, we want to try you out as a cover artist. So they gave me like 3 options. They're like, pick one of the options and then send it back to us. And I was like, man, I'm doing all of them. So I did every single one. I penciled, inked, colored, and put like the logo on it. And like they get it, I sent it to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't think you're ready." And so we'll get back to us, when you had a little bit more time. And then I think it was my wife who was like, you don't. I don't think you follow directions. They gave you 3 options. Pick one, and they didn't say color, and they just said do the pencils. And it was like at that moment, I was like, dog, you're right. Like you're right. I probably didn't follow directions. So I learned something, that day. I was like, bet if I ever get opportunity, like I gotta, give them what they asked for, not what you think
I'll,
what they want for.
I'll pass on some information that I got from like several people in that are working at the major like decision makers. And let me make sure I do this correctly. There's the top 3 things. Number 1 is, can you hit deadlines?
Yep.
So that's the first thing. Number 2, are you easy to work with?
Yep.
And then number 3, are you good?
You know who told me the same thing, right?
Dennis?
Yeah, he told me the same thing. He told me the same thing.
Yeah, but no, and I've heard it from several, like even before the milestone thing. So think about it, like me coming from like, middle management, corporate world, all that kind of stuff. If I say, hey, Javon, I need you to work on this specifically and get it done for me by the end of the day, you got till 6:00. And then you turn it in at 6:15 and you did way less than I asked or way more than I asked, then I'm like, okay, I can't put you into the machine. What do you put into cars? Like you put reliable parts, right?
Right. You're right.
So it's like,
by the way, this happened in like 2013.
Of
so
course. No.
I'm a little different.
Yeah, no,
I'm a little smarter.
These are all learning
Yeah.
lessons. So I already knew, like through this process, basic stuff. Like we're dealing with an email. We got a team of people. There's 3-4 people on every email for this particular project. So simple things like reply all instead of reply. Reply all was whooping some people's asses, like in just different projects that I've worked on. Excuse me. I had taco. The point is the reply all thing can be a menace, but it could be something like, say me, I'm writing, Javon is doing the art. Editor replies and says, hey, Greg, I need you to do blah, blah, blah. Javon, I need you to turn in blah, blah, blah by Monday morning. And then I come in and say, I'm on it. I'll have it to you Monday morning. I reply all. And then you come on and you press reply. And you only reply to me, but you already finished. You already got what you're supposed to have, and you sent that to me. And the editor's sitting here like, okay,
you're waiting.
He didn't reply.
Nope.
And he didn't hit the deadline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now to come back around to spin it back around and find out on Monday when I turn my stuff in, and then he says, okay, Javon, where's yours? And you say, oh, I sent it to you on Thursday. So now not only like does the deadline not get hit, but it gets hit because you're being a doofus.
Yeah.
You're not being thorough. You know what I'm saying? So it's like simple stuff like that. And then the other part and this is more for like people that are listening, because I know you already stated you learned your lesson.
Yeah, I learned it real quick.
But for
I
people,
was just like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not ready. All right, that's cool. That's all right.
for people, like, that's really what it is. Hey, man, like, I went into the milestone thing, and this is how I did at my job. It's like everything is an audition. So in my 18, 19-year career in finance, everything's an audition. So if somebody asks me, puts me on a project and asks me to do it, I'm never going to think I'm just doing it specifically for you.
Right.
Somebody else's eyes are going to be on this.
Right.
And that person's going to say, yo, who did this? Or they're going to say, yo, who did this? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like that same mentality. So you have to, this is fun. This is what we love, especially for like artist people. Like,
yeah,
you've been really putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in for a long time. You don't want to mess it up because of, like
right
stuff, because you forgot to dot an I.
Yeah, I felt like, at least for me at the time, I was so excited that I didn't take a sec, and I was a baby in it. I was a baby. Like,
what are we taught, like, as Black people, right? That you got to do extra. You got to go above. But no, sir, I just want to see if you can follow. Because what that translates into is, Javon, I need layouts done by, Friday, 12 o'clock for this 10-pager. Don't send me no damn 13 pages of layouts. Don't send me 9 pages of layouts.
Right.
Send me 10. You know what I'm saying? So, and remember, this is a whole machine. So if the layout guy, if you're late on your layouts, you're impacting 5-6 people's right? Like the Javier Rodriguez, the guy that's doing my Superman story, and it's
I think I know what that is. Yeah,
the art is, but it's all this stuff has already been timed. He already had projects that he was working on, so it's like everything gets timed out. But the art, the lettering, like everything, all that stuff has a date that it has to be completed. So if somebody misses that, and then misses my opportunity, it's like, so it's rough,
And I know, at least for myself, I think at that time, and I think I might have said this to my wife too, because when they weren't like, yeah, we don't want to hear from you ever again. They were just like, you're not ready right now. Try back later. We'll talk later. I kind of thought to myself, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not ready. And this was I had done 3 books. This is after, I had done 3 issues of Heat. And so I was like, you know what? Let me get some miles in. And so, I even now, like, I mean, I'm enjoying it, but if they were to be like I think CB is supposed to be at Terrificon in a couple weeks. And so I was like, well, actually I saw him again after, what had happened. But this time I wasn't really trying to, I had actually, like, because I had met his mother at that con, and I had spoken to her and everything, and she, like, remembered me. And so when I saw him again, I was just, I just talked to him like a normal person, like, how's your mom, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I just gave him whatever my new books were. And he was like, yeah, I'll read them on the airplane. And nothing really came of it, but, like, I'm just going to do the same thing again. Like, whatever new book that I've done, I'm just going to give it to him and be like, here, take it. Because at least for me, and I'm more trying to speak to, anybody who's in this, Savion's always asking questions. For me, I've always, so a couple things happened to me, and I've told this story before, but like, I got to sit with Jim Starlin. That same con, actually. I got to sit with him and have dinner with him, and he was like, listen, Marvel and DC are great, but what you need to do, work hard enough that eventually they'll come to you, and then once they come to you, you use them to make your name bigger, and then you go back to doing the other thing that you were doing before.
And I'll tell you, because even with that, which most of that I'm 100% in line with, but at this point, it's not like you can work for whoever. So you got guys right now that are writing or drawing for DC and Marvel at the same time, while also having
Yep.
their own image books, while
Yep.
also doing their own indie stuff. It's not exclusive anymore. So
Unless you sign an exclusive.
right, and who's doing that now?
Hey,
Because
listen. Some
like
people are.
yeah, I mean some are, and those guys are probably making like 20 times what a regular Joe like me is making, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like if I ever get to that point, that's a good problem to have. But since I'm not there right now, I can do that. I'm working, I got a book with Fair Square Comics right now that's gonna be hitting. I got two books that are gonna be hitting the comic shelves in October that are both in the previews. One's for DC Comics, one's for Fair Square Comics.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
working on a couple of my own indie joints. Working with like three of my indie joints. I'm working with another small, I don't want to say small, but another indie publisher. Um, so it's like they ain't stopping me from nothing. They might hit you up and say, "Hey, you got availability to work on this?" Guess what? I'm a writer. Yes, I do, because I'm gonna find time to do what I
I
need
was
to
gonna
do.
say
You
I'll
know,
find time too. All right,
right?
let me ask you this because I don't want to keep you up forever, but I gotta know. DC sits you down and they go, pick your character, and we gonna give you 12 issues full range. Who you picking?
Are you saying like milestone or
Pick your character from the DC whatever.
so? See, I can okay. That's that's hard because there's quite a few of them. Like I feel like I could do some dope stuff with John Stewart. I would love to write like an icon joint. I would love to write static. I got some characters that I've been, fooling around with on paper that I could create for the milestone,
Right.
universe. So there's, that I love Damian Wayne. I love Batman. I can't say just one. Like I would need like parameters. Like, are y'all looking for something special? Like if I could do just one DC.
One DC property, we'll give you a 12 issue run to start.
Let me do give me John Stewart.
Okay, all right, all right. Man, listen, everybody knows my love for Steel. I have been a big fan of Steel for. I actually just picked up the second issue of the new run that's out. I'm trying to get. I'm trying
That's
to.
no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Cyborg. Because our guy,
I haven't gotten to Cyber yet.
check out if you get a chance. One of the milestone guys, Morgan Hampton, is
Okay.
doing Cyborg. I've never been a Cyborg fan, but I love what he's doing with Cyborg.
Okay.
Like I
I'm
love
gonna check it
how
out.
he's writing, and it's not just biased because that's the homie, but he's doing a really good job with that story.
It's really tough for me to buy floppies lately because I'm always like forgetting that I'm collecting something. If that sounds weird, because I haven't really done the monthly buy issue, buy issue, buy issue. Because that used to be me. Now I'm more of a trade. Like I get trades. Like
It's weird because like some stuff, like if I don't catch it from the beginning, then I'm probably gonna spend a block and get the trade. But if I catch it
right.
from the beginning, or if it's just a one shot, I was telling my friend yesterday, I feel like I spent too much money on comics yesterday, but it had to happen. So
Like
yeah, I'm in
static.
there. I'm in there.
Static is a perfect example. I bought the first one and the second one, and I
Mhm.
didn't get back to the comic book shop for like 2-3 months. And and
Yeah.
by the time it hit, I was so far past it.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, so so I do trades now. Like I've been reading Philadelphia.
Mm.
Um,
That's a
Like what was it? What did I just pick up? I picked up something. Oh, I picked up an old trade for steel.
okay.
Because I picked up the steel #1 and then picked up the old trade, but I did just pick up a trade of something. Oh, Immortal Hulk. That's what I did. I'm still trying to get through that, but I've actually been doing more indie stuff.
Yeah. That
Than big two.
yeah. Like I like.
It's a book. It's like martial artists, and it's done by I don't know him personally. Kerry Randolph.
Kari
Randolph. I
Yeah.
don't know him personally, but what's
He's
the name of his book?
super cool. What is it called? I forgot to get it yesterday.
What is the name of the book? It's literally escaping me. I picked up the first trade for it, and I was like, man, the energy in this art is phenomenal.
He'll punch me in my eye if I don't remember it. But
I've never met him. So
yeah, no, he's super. He's also, and I don't even know. I'm pretty sure I'm older than him, but like ever since the first time I met him, like he's always giving good advice.
Excellence.
Well, no, excellence is
that's the one I saw.
Yeah,
that's the one I picked up.
Oh, that's the one you picked up. Okay, because he has a new series.
Really?
Yeah. Like
okay.
It was really cool. It was really cool how it came about. He was explaining it to me. But yeah, he's a super cool cat, man.
But you might be the most well-known dude in the Black indie community, though.
No,
like you know pretty much everybody.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, but
but who don't you know? Like, who have you not met that you would love to just meet or talk to
in the indie,
in the Black indie community?
I got to talk to really have a good conversation with Rodney Barnes recently.
Yeah.
David Walker, I tell him he's my sensei.
I've never met David Walker yet. Nope.
He's a fun fellow. He's he's fun to be around, but he also is gonna drop.
Sounds like you met everybody. I'm just saying. Like, if you can't think of anybody that you haven't met, that I'm just saying. I can name like 4. You can't name one.
Who are you? Maybe if you name your 4.
I just told you. I've never. Well, technically, I've never met Rodney Barnes. He was on the show. But David Walker, I've never met. I'd love to meet. Like I said, MD Bright.
2 favorites.
Because who is this? Because this nigga goes. Who is this? Is it Morgan?
Morgan would.
That sounds like something Morgan would say. Who else have I not met? That I've never met Michael Watson. We have not met yet. So technically, we haven't met yet. I mean, he in Ohio, dude. He don't come to North.
That's right across the street.
An 18-hour street?
It is not that far.
It is 18 hours to drive.
Well, take a flight.
This Greg's name, Ken. Is that?
Oh, Greg.
Oh,
what's up, name Ken?
I just met Greg. I literally just met Greg. Like,
I'm not saying we had the dopest panel at BlurCon, but I bet you we probably had the dopest panel at BlurCon.
I mean, I believe it. I believe it because y'all some Negroes. I'm just saying.
And the funny thing is, that's only our second panel, but we did one at Brooklyn Comic Con. Not this year, of course, because I wasn't there, but the year before, and that one came off pretty good too. So
wait, which one did that when?
At Brooklyn.
Oh, the year before. Yeah. Now, I still trying to figure out why you ain't come through this year.
We'll talk offline. Nothing bad. Nothing bad.
You ain't want to see my car get destroyed, man.
No. Like I said, it really it was nothing bad at all. I'll just explain it to you offline.
I actually had a phenomenal time, man. Like, I gotta be honest with you. That was definitely, I'm doing this tour, Heatwave 2023. Y'all know where to see me. I've been doing this tour, and that's been, car getting destroyed aside, that was definitely one of the better cons that I've done. Definitely one of the more financially fruitful cons. That was definitely one. It's on my list for next year when I start putting together cons for next year. But
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
definitely
no,
want to
it
do
was
it again.
like no, I had it was just fun. Like besides,
Oh yeah,
made the money that was made, it was like a fun convention, you know.
there
Uh
was like a lot of like I love the black representation at Brooklyn Comic Con. I got to be honest with you,
mhm.
that was nice. You know, Greg was there. Is it what's the name of their Comic Con? Their Vision.
You talking about Lonzo?
No, not Lonzo, not Concrete.
Oh, you talking about Shattered Visions?
No. Oh, I forget this dude's name. I have his card. I feel so bad. I just saw them. They got all yellow and black on, and they got it looked like a milestone logo, but it's not. It's a V.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna be mad at me. I feel so bad. Anyway, it was that Keith Williams was there. Um, there's another guy whose name I just met, who I just met. Um, he does hip hop, I think, too.
Mm.
I can't remember his name. Anyway, but that was really good con, man. I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, I had fun.
All right, so it's getting late. Uh,
I'm
tell
sorry,
the
man.
folks. No, you good.
XRP XRP just went live on crypto.com. I'm trying to get some more.
XRP, what's that?
It's a cryptocurrency.
I don't mess with crypto, man.
Man,
I don't mess with crypto. That seemed
man,
that seemed too that seemed too volatile for me.
man.
I mean, you let me know how it works. You let me know. When I see you rolling in dough, I'll be like, well, I was wrong.
What is it up to now?
Oh my
This
god.
is
I
bananas.
lost them. Tell
You
folks,
getting
tell
man?
folks, tell folks again about your Kickstarter.
Yeah, the Search for Sadaka issue 2. I'm really excited. I need y'all's help though. So right now we're almost halfway funded, and we still have some time to go. But the way Kickstarter works, of course, is like the earlier you get funded, the better chance you have to hit stretch goals. And I got some really cool stretch goals that I want to, thrust upon people. But we got to get to the regular goal first. It's 9,000. None of it's going in my pocket. It's going towards the art team. It's going towards coloring, lettering, because I'm doing this like a real comic book company. So I have every slot is delegated, and then finally for the what's it called, shipping, handling, all that stuff. So that's where the $9,000 goes to. It's a 30-page comic. I have my Milestone Initiative sister Taya Ankam and her twin sister Tahila Ankam, and they're the ones that are doing the pencils and inks. They're awesome. They're young. They're new to this. They're super talented. They're super humble and also super hardworking. So we're just trying to make some magic. This is going to be the first book that I'm doing with them. But we're just going to try to make magic with it. And hopefully, like I said, hit the goals so we can keep pushing.
Okay, all right. And tell folks where you finna be though.
This weekend, I'll be in Springfield, Massachusetts, Springfield Comic Con. I am deeming this month uh, Black Comic Con month because we just did BlurredCon last week. Next week is Urban NerdCon in Atlanta, and then the week after that is DreamCon in Austin, Texas. So I'm gonna get my share of
Should have
my
came to
people's.
Terrificon, man. I don't know why you ain't do it, man.
Have you
Trying to tell you.
have you heard anything about DreamCon, sir?
I know about DreamCon. I know about Dream. I actually
So
almost did it. I almost did it.
yeah,
But
and it was
I got
crazy
allegiance
because
to Terrificon.
it was crazy because we got invited, but it was like, and I was like, yeah, and then I had to go back. Marcus was like, no,
Oh, he didn't want to do Terrificon?
no, he knew about the DreamCon thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was just, it's like when people invite, sometimes you get, you're so honored, but at the same time, it was like, oh, we already got something.
Did you guys get invited to both?
We didn't. long story. I'll talk to you offline.
All right. Yeah, man. Terrificon's pretty good though. I gotta be honest. I'm loyal. I'm loyal to Terrificon. Mitch, again, that was the first con I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And I damn near sold out. And then I came back, the next year, and then damn near sold out again. And so, I think that was the year I did. That was the year before COVID. Was that the year before COVID? No, okay. So I've done it. I did it 3 times before, and then the third time.
I don't even know how many times you did it.
I know. So that's the third time I did it. I did well, and then COVID hit, and then I came back. Did well. I've done well every single time. So it's definitely, next year. If y'all get a chance, it's funny because I got offered to take, I think Ryan Robinson's table. I guess he's going now, but he was like, "Do you want my DreamCon table?" And I was like, I'm there at Terrificon. I hate all these cons like overlap, man.
But like this is what we call a con season, so
yeah,
it's bound to happen with the amount of actual conventions these days. It used to not be a million of them, so
yeah.
I just, the way I see it, it's like, because like us, we haven't done anything in Connecticut, but like we haven't done anything in Texas either. And Texas, like, we have a lot of fans. We sell a lot of stuff online in Texas, so it's like,
Oh no, I get that.
yeah, let's go. We'll hit that one up this time, and then going forward, we'll see where the ball bounces.
Okay. Well, all right. So I appreciate you coming on. I'm about to see you in like 48 hours or so. I will be at Springfield Comic Con as well. Not with the big dogs like him. They'll probably got me like situated in a corner. No, real talk though. When I did Springfield last time, it was less vendors. So they're bigger now. It's like it was one day before, it's 2 day now, and they gave me like 2 tables. I was killing it. It was so great.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't. I always try to figure out how many books I need to bring.
That's always hard. It's always tough for me. I think I'm bringing like 30, 39, like 115 books total. Like 30, 30, 30, and then like 15 trades.
So like the thing is, I don't want to like, I just don't know what the crowd is going to be like. So I have to like kind of gauge it, but I know.
Again, like I said, it was really well received last year. They had a large group. I mean, they didn't account for how many people wanted to be there. Like they had a line around the block, and it was like sweltering heat, and people were passing out waiting in line, and it was like there was I didn't know. I had done that con. I did that con on a whim. Like last minute, like, I saw Springfield, y'all having a con? You have a table? And they're like, yeah, sure. And so I did it. And, so I had no idea. And just from my perspective, I ended up selling a lot of books and a lot of people looking for Black books because I think I was like the only dude there. I think I was literally the only Black independent guy there. Because they didn't even have like a lot of huge names. They've got more big names now, than before. So, if the same crowd shows up, it should be good.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, I'm not one of those. Like, I'm not gonna bring like a really small amount and then be sitting twiddling my thumbs. So I'll probably.
I'd be dying to twiddle my damn thumbs. I'd be dying to twiddle my thumbs. Like if I could sit like this.
No.
I'll take it any day.
Yeah, no, I feel you, but like I'm probably gonna bring like, and then I got like different series. Yeah. I'm really low on Sadaka, and I don't want to pay a rush fee, so I'm probably gonna not bring Sadaka. It'll just be Solus. I got that milestone jank.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
Tuskegee stuff, and then try to move some posters.
You'll be good. I think
Oh,
I think y'all be good. Like I don't think you're gonna have to worry about nothing. And then I think the next time I see you after that is Baltimore, right?
unless you come into Dragon Con or
Not unless
you,
somebody
yeah, no.
somebody calls me and says I'm off the wait. I don't. They ain't even talk about wait list when they
Oh,
sent me the email. They was like, "Yeah, we got too many people," and that
yeah,
was
it's
it.
man, it's like I try to tell some of these shows. Like there were people that were mad, about not getting into like New York Comic Con and stuff. It's like when you start seeing or talking to some of the people that didn't get into these shows, and then you had like the audacity to be the Stephen A. Smith, the unmitigated gall to be like complaining, and like it'd be like sometimes it'd be like heavy hitters. So
Who is
I
it?
always look at it like any show that I like that I get into, I'm grateful and I'm appreciative because it could be easy. Like
I was standing next to Greg Elise, and we both got the email at the same time. Like we didn't
really,
make it in. Yeah, like, we were at a Comics in Color festival in Boston.
mm,
And we were he was like, "Yeah, I didn't get in." And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't get mine yet, dude. I didn't
yeah,
get in either." But
yeah,
it's crazy because I got in the first year I ever applied, which was so weird. Like I got in the first year, and then I got in the second year, and I had to
we
give up
got
my table the
yeah
second year.
we got I want to say maybe 18 or 19. The year when they shut down that wing where Artist Alley was, we got rejected. We ended up like we found somebody that asked us did we want to share a table upstairs with them. Um, this year, we got a table in Artist Alley, and then I'm gonna have a table in like Marcus will be in Artist Alley, and I'll be in the small press area.
Oh, okay.
We diversifying our bonds because I did small press the first year after the pandemic, and I walked out of there like George Jefferson, like when you do that walk, like I'm rich kind of walk. So I was like, yeah, I want to see what that's like again.
Now,
So,
did y'all get invited to Dragon Con or did you apply?
long story, I'll talk to y'all. I'll talk to y'all. So,
All right. Well, thank everybody for stopping by. I'm a BS with this dude for the next 3 days probably. So thank you for stopping by, man. I'm glad I finally got you on. And, the talk shop. It's always fun. We gonna be talking again at some point on a Facebook thread.
I'm about to get so rich. I just got more.
Y'all have a great weekend. Come see us at Springfield Comic Con, and hopefully it's nice and warm, and everybody can come out. Listen, don't pass out in the line. Bring water. Like, go sit in
Gatorade,
your car if you can. We don't want nobody passing out in line. And come get
Kool-Aid.
some of these books, man. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you for stopping by at Stoked Podcast, Creative Talk for Creative People. Y'all have a great weekend. I hope to see you. Peace.